My name is Jacob Adams. I'm a fitness and leadership coach. I help people just like you achieve more. More strength in the gym, more energy, more clarity, overall confidence and courage. Everything that you need to get to the next level in your life. It could be fulfillment, self-acceptance, and defining purpose even. Have you ever struggled with sexual transmutation? This word, sexual transmutation, this term, I first heard about in Think and Grow Rich many years ago. Have you ever wondered, maybe encountered it also in Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill and thought, is this for real? Is sexual transmutation something that we should really even look into or take seriously, or is it just some hoopla, hokey dokey, weird, mystic bullshit? When I first encountered it, I knew that I felt like, what? You know, Think and Grow Rich. What does thinking and growing rich have to do with sex or conserving sexual energy or transmuting that sexual energy? I read the book a few times already throughout my life, and in it, Napoleon Hill writes that so often people cannot achieve greatness till after 40 years old because they often dwindle or spend frivolously their sexual energy through promiscuity or masturbation or, whatever, wanking it, whatever you want to call it. So people will often use their sexual energy in very adolescent type ways throughout their life. So it's very difficult for them to focus and hone in on what they actually want to achieve. So when I first heard of sexual transmutation, I was like, you know what? What is Napoleon Hill even writing about this for? It's kind of weird. When you get to that part in Think and Grow Rich where he writes about it, you may want to avoid that part. You may think, well, everything else is great, but I'm going to avoid the sexual transmutation part. And if you feel that way, I want you to know I also felt that way at one point and avoided that process or that idea for many years. This is because I had a girlfriend at the time, and the idea of conserving sexual energy for a woman that I already felt I had, it seemed very ridiculous that was an essential part of becoming wealthy. And so time went on. Eventually I broke up with that person and we went our own ways. And then I continued to date around and even adopt a very carefree dating life where, I enjoyed being more intimate and more, careless with my sexual energy. And, not by any extreme sense where like I was a weirdo or anything like that, like just nothing like that, but definitely just careless in that life. The idea of conserving sexual energy for a point in my life was just nowhere near. It wasn't really on the radar at all. Maybe a little bit because I knew that boxers would sometimes not orgasm or anything like this for months or so before a fight. So I thought, as a trainer, I thought maybe there's something to it, In 2014, I was recommended to read a book called The Way of the Superior Man by David Data. It's a great book. I recommend it to you. In that book, he went into things like masculine and feminine energy. He went into lifting energy up through the spine. In other words, you see back here, there's a man here, and there's energy sort of coming out through the third eye and things like this, that region. Well, David Data went into taking sexual energy and moving it up through the spine from the lower chakra all the way up through the spine and into and orgasming in the brain. And I was like, well, I gotta try that. And I did. He goes into how you can read the book yourself, but long story short, he goes into how if you can conserve orgasm, get sexual or get sexual to a degree and not orgasm or not ejaculate, that you can achieve some kind of strength or orgasm in the brain. Now, naturally, this sounded very interesting to me. Well, I mean, I think if you're listening to this, it sounds interesting to you too. I'm sure if you're a man, right, and you wrote a book called The Way of the Superior Man, he's saying, listen, look at this, watch this, conserve your energy, move it up through the spine and orgasm in the brain. I mean, it's pretty interesting, right? So I tried that for many years, for about 2 years, and I think with some success. And I think I hit the brink of that ideal. And I started then seeing how there was a quick connection to Think and Grow Rich and sexual transmutation and this David Data stuff. And since 2014, I've managed to really become more of a master of my sexuality versus it sort of managing my life. I've practiced celibacy for about 2.5 years now, and it's paid off in the extent that I have a lot more clear thinking where I stand with relationships, got to break through codependency habits or the codependency aspect of life, and really even embrace some of the hard aspects of being single, like, sadnesses or deep sort of realizations of, our internal doubts or self-critiques, self-critiques. And I've even managed to really clarify what it is that I want to do with my company, with myself, with my business. So it's been a very good process to adopt sexual transmutation. The thing is that I don't sell sexual transmutation. I don't benefit from you doing it or not doing it. It's really not something that I need to tell you to do for me. All I'm going to do today is go into why it works, how it works, and some of the key ideas as to how to do it. Like I said, in conserving sexual energy and being a master of yourself, you can gain more clarity, more strength, more focus, and more desire, and start, really harnessing in your creative energy to attract and design the life that you want. And in that, you can start having a more internal conviction and internal design as to what it is that you're going to achieve. Right now, as I record this, I'm in a room by myself. There's absolutely almost no one around me at all. And this feeling is a very, very, it almost feels like that back there. It's not as colorful probably internally, but it's this feeling of expansion, and I could feel my desires and my overall ambition in life gravitating me or pulling me towards things, and also pulling things towards me. So this is why it's interesting, right? In other words, let's just say you were to call up, let's just say you have a booty call. Let's say you're the type of person that has a booty call, and you call your booty call and play it out for yourself. You're going to go to their house, you might get right to it, but then you're going to lay in their bed for a little bit, and once you're just going to get in their bed and you're done, you do the deed and you go home. It's rarely probably not that fast. You're probably going to go to their house, watch some TV with them afterwards or whatever, get into a little debate, maybe feel the tension of, are you more than just friends? Are you more than these friends with benefits? You'll go through this process, right? And so then that's consuming time. And so let's just say you have another objective, which may be to build a company or get a raise in your job or get in better shape. Let's just say that you have that objective too. Well, the main reason these things are so hard for people is because we're dwindling our time and our energy in these things, our ambitions, right? And we're using our creative energy, our sexual force that can be used to achieve these great things. We're using it to engage in promiscuity, which this isn't a judgment as much as a scientific discussion. I've already told you that, I myself have been promiscuous to a degree, like enough so it's not a judgment on you as much as this is my story and saying, okay, so there's a difference between when I, am more frivolous with my sexual energy and when I'm more focused, centered, dominant, meditating, just really being mindful of what I want to do with my sexual and creative energy. See, every day, especially if you're a man, when you wake up, you understand that there's more testosterone, there's more energy in your body. And then with the right amount of focus, you can get to your day and you can begin working on your objectives. Now, if you have I'm willing to bet if you have strong objectives or you have high level goals that you really want to see come to fruition, you see, like, let's just say this. If you're highly promiscuous and you waste your sexual energy, there's a certain point where you hit where you need more focus, you need more clarity, you need more energy, you need more drive to stick to your goals, but you're finding that you maybe go a little bit, but you get out. And then in that pattern of getting away from your goal, you'll find that you are maybe going to your partner, your booty call, your girlfriend, or even pornography to feel good, get your dopamine levels up high, and just sort of feel that bliss, right, of an orgasm. And in that, you've dissipated a very viable, very needed hormone and even a life force within yourself that can help you propel yourself to your next level. Now, these kind of ideas are in Think and Grow Rich. It's sort of I'm basically unpackaging for you the gist of Think and Grow Rich and sexual transmutation. Naturally, you can't expect these ideas to be talked about so readily on HBO, or you can't expect these things to be covered so readily in the news, because it's too intense, it's too real, and there's an agenda in the world to keep this process up of you dispelling your sexual energy. It goes all the way back to the concept of even Adam and Eve, where Adam represents the logical part of the brain, and Eve represents the feminine, the body part of the brain, the physicality. And sexual energy is the snake, right? And so that's why there's a lot of similarities between this concept of Kundalini, meaning energy that's pent up in the root chakra. Kundalini is about rising the sexual energy up into the higher aspects of, third eye and the higher consciousness. Okay, so that's where I'm at right now as I make this video, right? Because I'm discussing it, I'm channeling that energy. There's actually you could say there's doubts that I have to work through and I have to really penetrate those doubts and act from a place of conviction and certainty and clarity to bring this up to you, right? And in many ways, I'm tapping into my subconscious mind, my belief system, my education, all to come through and trust that it's coming to you in this video and it's reaching you, right? So what you're about to hear today isn't just theory, it's things that I've practiced in my own life, and everything you're gonna see right now, I could tell you details, everything you need to know. It's based on fact and practice. Currently right now, you can say I'm delving deep into a deeper part of my commitment to sexual transmutation. So let's just understand that sexual transmutation is the harnessing of sexual energy and transmuting it from just a process of sex or creating another human being or pleasure of the sexual organs into a creative process of, let's just say, building a company, creating a work of art, music, starting a relationship, attracting a soulmate, etc., getting closer to God and things like this. Now, as you hear this, I do understand there is a level of complexity or doubt, or we're living in a world where it's difficult to just be so blunt about these things, and that's why I'm doing it, right? Because if I'm blunt about it, then I'm sort of taking away some of the mysticism and bringing to you a scientific perspective that you can apply to your fitness program, to your endeavors as a person, to who you want to become, whether it's self-acceptance. Again, like I told you at the beginning, my name is Jacob Adams. I'm a fitness and leadership coach. I help people just like you achieve more. So what does more mean? What does more mean to you? I know a lot of people. For you, it's likely losing more body fat. It's refocusing your fitness program. It's moving more weight. It's pushing more weight. It's getting closer to people you love. It's achieving more success in your business. It's having more intimacy, more fulfillment. It's getting closer to God. All these things, this is my main focus. This is my work And that's what I teach, and that's what because I feel that those are the most important things, right? And so I could easily, start dabbing like this or something like that to try to be funny or cute, and maybe that's great, maybe that is good for some people, but as you grow up, you're not a small audience, you're not a young audience if you're watching this. You're likely, in 25, 35-year-old range at least, and if you're following me at this point, stay tuned, because here we go. So understand that the actual victory of using this is going to be a consistent thing. It's not like you're just going to start working on sexual transmutation and then one day you're wealthy, or it's a process that starts unveiling itself day by day. If you decide, let's just say you have a boyfriend, girlfriend right now. If you decide to stop having sex with them to harness your sexual energy, you're going to notice your desire for them goes up a little bit. You're going to notice that you might miss them a little more. And those are good feelings, right? But at the same time, you might have to deal with a little bit of the withdrawal of it, because sex on some level can be used as a drug. So consider these things, okay? All right. So here is some of the tips here. There's 7 tips on how to get deeper into sexual transmutation. And keep in mind though that, let's just say, if we look back to, the year 2000, when the internet became really hot, and 2005, we saw this explosion of sexuality. People wearing scantily clad clothing, pornography, just sex everywhere, sex sells, everywhere, sex. So now in 2017, 17 years after the freaking boom of the internet, we're seeing so much sex, whether it's on Instagram and women taking off their clothes there, pornography of every type known to man online. You have people getting in trouble for all types of things that sex is leading them to do, okay, in the world. And look at what's going on with Hollywood and sexual addiction there, and how sex is being used to, get people roles and stuff. So sex is a very powerful thing. It's like money. It's a powerful element. And in and of itself, it is not bad. It's just that when these things become addictions, okay? So now, it's 2017, we have enough space and enough time to compare, to see what these things have done to our society. And you as a man, or you as a woman, you've seen that these things have not been good. You have Christian men who watch pornography behind their wife's back. You have just so much dissonance between what people really truly want out of a relationship and what they're actually achieving. And this dissonance, currently in today's society, it's really calling to action people like yourself that are willing to put in the work, are willing to put in the sacrifice needed. We're going into the next clip here in a bit, so I'll pick you up on that side there here in a bit, here in a few seconds. But yeah, so it's really, here in 2017, we really are